Hi, I'm Lindsay Siegel-Slott, and I help quiet teens become happy, successful adults. Now, if you're watching this video, you're not a teen. You are a mom, a dad, or guardian of a quiet teenager, and you may be wondering, what are your kids actually interested in these days? So I know how it goes. In the first 5 to 10 years of your child's life, you're always with that child. You always know what they're doing. You get a full progress report from their teachers at school. You feel very involved. You usually know pretty much what they're doing. But as time goes by and your kids turn 12, 13, 14, and so on, they're going to be spending a lot of time away from you. They go to friends' houses. They meet their friends at the movies, at the mall. They do other things together, and you are at the point where you feel like you're not sure who your child is anymore. You don't know what they're interested in. You don't know what they like, what they don't like. They may surprise you sometime. They might say oh, I don't eat meat anymore, or I don't eat broccoli anymore, or something. And it maybe used to be something like their favorite food, and they suddenly don't eat that anymore. Well, in terms of interests, it actually is really important to know what your teenagers are interested in, because that could be a clue to their future career or a hobby that really gives them a lot of fulfillment, happiness, friendships, etc. So it is good for you to know. Well, the easy answer, how do you find out what they're interested in? The easy, simple answer is you ask. But there is an art to asking. It's not really that simple. Because at this point, your child might not feel that close to you. They might not feel that much love for you. Because think of it, put yourself in their shoes. For the first, 10 to 15, however old your child is, 10 to 15 years of their life, they've known you to be kind of possibly bossy. You tell them what to do, you tell them what not to do, you teach them right from wrong. They don't really get it. They don't get that you're telling them what to do and you're teaching them things out of love. So the reason why I'm bringing this up is because you need to understand that. So the first thing you do before you ask your child, well, what have you been up to, or what are you interested in? You don't really ask it like that. You really just connect with them. And the way you connect is not by saying, I love you. This is my point here. Your teenager might not feel a lot of love for you or from you, okay? Because from their perspective, you've kind of been telling them what to do for all these years, and they don't feel that as love. They feel that as someone who's kind of bossing them around. Maybe they feel like, you just have them as an accessory in your life. Like you don't know how they feel, but they may not feel loved. So if you start out by saying, I love you, it doesn't sound very sincere to your child. It just doesn't. Even if you truly do love them, it doesn't sound sincere. So how do you start then? Well, you start out kind of just kind of speaking from your heart, saying, well, you know what? I have to say this. I kind of miss you. You don't say, I love you. You say, I miss you. When you were younger, we spent a lot of time together. And I know it's normal for you to go out with friends and not spend time with me much anymore. It's totally normal, and I'm happy for you, and I want you to be happy, so that's great. But I just want you to know I miss you, and I like you. When you were younger, I liked being around you. I liked playing with you. I liked seeing who you liked to play with, and I liked watching you build Legos or whatever they did when they were younger. You say, I liked watching you do that stuff. And now that you're older, I give you your privacy. I know you do your own thing, and that's great. But I don't get to see what you like anymore. And so I'm asking you, if you don't mind sharing with me, what do you like? If you like a certain author, if you like books, if you like movies, TV shows, if you like reading certain blogs, or you like reading articles on the internet on this or that, or politics or whatever, what do you like these days? I mean, I just don't even know. And I feel like I don't know you as well as I used to. And, I really do want to know you. I really want to know the real you. Whether you believe that or not, it's true. I want to know the real you. And you need to really come from a place of sincerity when you say that. If you don't feel that way, if you honestly feel like you only love your child if they're interested in things that you're interested in, or you only love them if they're interested in pursuits that you think are worthy, like pursuits like that you think are going to lead to lucrative careers, if that's the only time you're really interested in your child, or those are the only interests that you value and that you want to hear about, you've got two choices. Okay, you can close this window and don't look at my channel again, because I really don't work with parents like that. I can't really speak to that. But the other option you have, if you want to keep watching, that's great. The other option you have is, for right now, just consider faking it, okay? And I promise you, this is going to pay off more than you know. Even if you sincerely were raised with thinking like, well, the only interests that really matter are, medicine, law, business, real estate, the typical things that we see people making money in. Even if you were raised that way and maybe that's the career you have, you need to pretend just for a minute, okay, for the sake of your relationship with your child, pretend that you don't feel that way. Just pretend. Just fake it for like 5 or 10 minutes with your child, and just be really, really, really open-minded about what they're interested in, and really, really try to also be vulnerable. And, maybe even admit something that you've done that wasn't so practical. Like you could say, well, when I was your age, I used to, I used to try to, put things together, and I thought I could make a radio. I thought I could make my own radio, put these parts together, but it never worked. And my parents thought I was silly. They thought I was stupid because I was always trying to do something that never worked. Anything, like reveal just anything that they don't know about you. And that's going to bring you closer to them too. And it's going to make you appear more human, because you are a human being. And they may not see you that way. They see you as somebody that's been bossing them around, somebody that is just kind of, like I said, maybe thinks of them as an accessory, one of their many objects that they've achieved in life, one of their achievements. And you don't really want it to be that way. You don't want them to think of you that way. So you ask them sincerely. First you say, I miss you, I don't get to see you anymore, and I understand that, it's fine, I'm happy for you, but I'd like to know what you're really interested in. If you don't want to include me when you're doing whatever it is, if you're watching the show or you're reading something, I would love to be with you when you're doing that. But if you don't want that, that's fine. I would just love to know what it is. And maybe in my spare time, I could watch the TV show that you like, or I could read the book that you like, or whatever. Offer to, either share in the experience, or, in some way show that you're interested. And even if you're really not, just fake it. You need to fake it. You need to, for the sake of your relationship with your child. You have to act like you're interested in what they're interested in. Because this person, whether they're biological or adopted, they came from you. You've been raising them. And you need to be interested in what they're interested in. Now, right now, you may be faking it. You may be thinking, well, what if they're interested in something weird? What if they're interested in, underwater basket weaving? That's kind of a joke that went around in my day. But anyway, what if they're interested in just something so weird to you that you don't get it? What if they're interested in bungee jumping? Something that you think is so crazy, so out of your mind, dangerous, that you just can't believe it. Just for 5 or 10 minutes for this conversation, just fake it and just say, oh, well, that's really different. Like, how did you get into that? Be really open-minded, okay? And if you have to, fake it. But you need to show interest. Otherwise, you're not going to get an honest answer about this, or possibly about anything else, okay? The way you get honest answers from your kids is that you show interest. And you remain open-minded. You remain free of judgment. because in the long run, your kids are going to be so much closer to you as adults, and they're also going to be so much more successful because they're going to be confident. Because after all, you are their parent. You are the first person who brought them into the world. And so if you're not sincerely interested in what they're doing, who will be? Okay? It may not be apparent right now, but it really is true. It has long-term effects. If you show interest, even if you don't really mean it right now, even if right now you feel like you're totally faking it, that's fine. Fake it. If you at least try your best to show interest, it will pay off, because that will give your child confidence. It really will. No matter what they think of you, if you show interest, it will give them confidence, because they're going to think in their mind, possibly subconsciously, maybe not consciously, but at least subconsciously, they're going to be like, oh, mom is actually interested in the fact that I like to go skateboarding, or I like to write fan fiction, or whatever it is. Okay, whatever it is that might seem weird to you, if they think, oh, my mom or my dad is actually interested in that, it gives them this inner validation that they need and that they will cherish more than you ever will know. And that will give them the confidence to move forward with their life. It doesn't mean that, if they, it doesn't mean that they have, delusions. It doesn't mean that, just because they like, goofing around on a ukulele, it doesn't mean that they think they're going to become a rock star someday and they're not going to study school books anymore. That it doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean they're going to get delusional. It just means they're going to have a sense of confidence that they need to move forward with their life in whatever pursuit they decide later. But you need to connect with them and really show or fake interest in what they really are doing. Because as you open up to them and show interest, they're going to come to you more and more often and share more and more. And you'll be surprised that they actually will eventually have an interest that is productive. Maybe not to you, but to the rest of the world. They're going to be very confident. They're going to be hardworking at whatever it is, and other people will find it productive. And I have an example, actually. I met someone once who said his son has a hookah business. Now, if you know what a hookah is, it's those machines that it's like something that you smoke. Like, I've never done it. I would never do it, honestly. And it's something that he would never do. But his son got into it. And I asked him, I said, well, weren't you skeptical when he got in? And he's like, of course I was skeptical. But his son has a successful business now in that industry. And so, his son had that confidence to move forward. And the dad just kind of said, yeah, I was skeptical, but I just kind of let it go. I just kept an open mind and I let it go. I let him do what he wanted. And it turned out, there's a demand for that. And his son became successful with his business. So that's an example for you to think about, that just because you're not sincerely interested in what they like, it doesn't mean they won't be successful. But if you at least keep an open mind and you show interest in what they're doing, then they have a much better chance of having the confidence to know that they will acquire whatever skills they need to move forward in that field. Okay? Thanks for watching. Leave a comment below or questions if you have any questions, okay? Thanks so much for watching.